Is Final Fantasy 16 difficulty too easy? That's what we're going to be covering in today's video. One thing that I noticed in my first playthrough of the Iconic Challenge was that this was fairly easy. And then after a little bit more deep diving, I started to realize a couple things. Let's cover them. First, let's talk about the two modes. You have story mode and action mode. What are they? They're exactly the same. The only difference is in story mode, you will get these automatically equipped. Action mode, you will not, but you still have the ability to equip them. These are the different rings that the game will give you that can make it a lot easier to use. So you probably know this if you already played the Final Fantasy 16 demo, but we'll cover them real quick. This one allows you to automatically command Torgal. If not, you have to command him yourself. This one is huge. This is where you have the option to hit R1 throughout your battle. So it will let you know, hey, now is a great time to hit dodge. Take your time and go ahead and hit R1. Without it, this totally changes the combat. Moving over, this is the Badge of Might. It just increases your attack by 7. Next, Ring of Timely Strikes. All you have to do is hit square and it will go through all the different types of icons. With the icon abilities, it gives you 3 right off the bat, and this will automatically change them for you and just start unleashing attacks with square button. Next, Clive will automatically evade attacks, so you don't even have to dodge with this ring. And lastly, we have Timely Healing, which will automatically use a potion if your health is at a certain amount. So why even mention this? Because if we remove them, it will change your gameplay. So creator I want to give a shout out to is Dark Side Beats for leaving this comment here. He says, I turned off Final Fantasy 16 because the combat was so easy, it seemed like a joke. He then continues, I literally took my right hand off the controller completely. No joystick movement at all. All I had to do for every encounter was press circle to auto zoom to enemies and then spam square. So let's go ahead and try it with the rings on. And the big one here is going to be the Ring of Timely Focus. And that's the one where we hit R1. I won't attack. I'll take my hands off the remote. And you'll see literally, well, let's go up to an enemy. Watch this. Literally, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't even have to hit dodge. I could probably take a sip of water and come back and keep battling. Like, that's how much time I have here. Now let's go ahead and take these off. We'll just leave that one. That increases our attack. So you see here, I have to now choose on when I'm going to dodge. Now let's go ahead and re-equip these. So we'll put on this Ring of Timely Strikes. All right, so let's go back into the gameplay. Fight this guy. What I think this does is it absolutely gets rid of that sense of accomplishment. Just for that one ring, it completely changed the whole dynamic of our combat here. And I don't know if the company did this because mostly Final Fantasy is turn-based. And for those that like turn-based games, maybe they did this to give them the option to make it easier. I mean, there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans out there, including myself, but I think it's good that people have the option, but on the other hand, it's definitely not for me. And I don't know how it is for you, but that just went from extremely easy to, I don't want to call it a hard mode, but definitely a normal mode. I do want to mention this. Something that I do think is actually really cool is changing the sword doesn't just change attributes. You literally get to see the sword change. And I think that is absolutely legit. And this bastard sword is really cool, by the way. I had to mention that. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I was going to talk about more difficulty options. And what that is we have New Game Plus that is an option after you beat Final Fantasy 16. And according to Game Informer, the New Game Plus will highlight Final Fantasy Mode, which increases the game's difficulty, changes monsters' placement, and remixes which enemies might appear in combat. And they continue to say that New Game Plus gives players controlling Clive the sense that they're always in danger, that death is around the corner, and that you'll need to really pay attention to be able to clear the content. So in the regular modes, being the action focused and the story focused, both of those, you'll have enemies come at you. I don't want to say one at a time, but it definitely gives you more time to face off each opponent. And in the New Game Plus, that's not going to be the option. They're actually going to have swarms of enemies coming at you at once. So is Final Fantasy 16 difficulty too easy? I think that depends on what you plan to get out of this game. It may not have the difficulty of a Souls game, but I do think that the more that we progress in this game, it will become more difficult. And I do love the option that once you get through all the gameplay, you have New Game Plus, the Final Fantasy mode, and it unlocks a whole new experience, which allows us to enjoy combat that much more. I would love to hear your thoughts if you think Final Fantasy 16 is too easy, even with or without the rings. Would love to hear that. How was your experience with the demo? I can't wait for this game to release. I can't stop thinking about this game when I'm at work. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like. That way you don't miss future videos, especially with our gameplays with Final Fantasy 16. Until the next one, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.